I just bought this game last night, and it looks cool. I don't mind pixelated games. It seems interesting the way that it's worded. So, it's a horror game. Not sure, well, a unique horror adventure. Not sure how it's going to play out, but let's give it a shot. Your game will be saved automatically. However, I recommend you put aside an hour and a half and complete home in a single setting. I got an hour and a half. Turn up the sound. Turn off the lights. Well, I have black curtains in my house because all I wear is black and red. And, well, I have an lamp on. Maybe I'll turn it off. I mean, it's daylight. I mean, it's fucking daylight. How scary can it be? But games scare me. Horror games scare me. Like, I haven't beat Soma because I'm too fucking scared. All I remembered at that point was finding myself alone. Oh, my head. Where was I? It's so dark. There's something by my feet. A flashlight. Oh, just throw me right in, eh? How do I... Oh, okay. Whoa. Controller's vibrating. That house. Where was I? Whoa. I wonder if I can go back in. Guess that little stain doesn't matter. Okay. There's a body lying on the floor. Who was it? I didn't recognize his face. He was still kind of warm. Ew. He's freshly dead. Okay, same thing. Kitty! Oh. My controller vibrated. Oh, okay. I can... Hey! Alright. No downstairs. There's a leak. I need to fix that. Hold on. Let me turn up the volume a little bit. You're going to see a blue screen. I apologize. There we go. Yeah, much better. Okay. Ooh. Storming. The desk had a computer and some papers on it and a single drawer. I didn't want to snoop, but did I open the drawer? Yeah. Receipts, pens, and a blurry photo. Looked like a store of some kind. Why did this look so familiar? Because it's the store I work at. I really shouldn't have been going through this stuff, getting my fingerprints everywhere. Well, whatever. Yellow. What the? Blood on the wall. It smelled fresh and sickening. I realized there was blood on my shoes and pants. Oh man, I had to get out of here. Well, you did it. I gotta go downstairs. I noticed that I limped as I moved down the stairs. How did I hurt my leg, I wondered. All I could really recall was coming home and seeing Rachel. I was upset. She looked afraid. I shook my head and tried to clear it. I knew I should head downstairs, try to find a way out. The shelf is full of books on local history and hunting. Seems like the owner of the house really knew the area. Maybe it's my house. Could be my house. God, I don't like the controller vibrating. An old dining table covered in dirty dishes for 2 people. There were dozens of beer cans and other liquor bottles among the dishes. The smell was turning my stomach. Fucking pussy. Black and white photo looked like a man upstairs and his wife. I guess there was no reason for me to keep this. Did I take it? Yeah. Yeah, it would help me find some answers, I'm sure. Did he mean the one by the old train yard? A thin gray mouse was stuck in a trap. It looked frantic but exhausted. Did I free it? Yes. I'm just agreeable. A collection of rusty tools. These look like they'd seen a lot of use and were caked in damp smelling dirt. Why weren't they in the shed? So we can bury the body. Hey, a photo. A photo similar to the one I picked up. It's been moved a lot. There seemed to be a switch behind it. Did I push the switch? It pressed smoothly into the wall. I heard a fairway click somewhere. What's that noise? Okay. I guess I'll go down. I look like hell. My clothes are dirty and torn, and there's mud caked all over my shoes. Oh God, what was that? It's a door. Oh, what the? The door was taped up and seemed to be stuck. By the smell, I guessed it led to the kitchen. Someone's cooking? Oh, I didn't know this was locked. I'm just doing shit and not even trying. What the hell is that? Let's not go straight down there yet. Let's explore a little bit more. Whoa, what the? The front door was blocked by a pile of furniture. I knew I had to find another way out. The bathroom was spotless. Everything had been wiped to a sheen. I wondered if it was the man's wife who did the cleaning or him. If it was that clean, it was the wife. There's a photo development tray laying on the floor. Some leftover negatives were sticking out, but they were pretty blurry. Is that? I can't tell. God, the sound on this is so good. I can't tell if it's in my house or if it's in my ear. I thought I saw what looked like treetops. Well, I guess let's go in the kitchen since it's open now. There were sheets of paper all over the kitchen table. It looked like a series of names were written down, but they were too smudged to read. I could only make out a few of the notes. Keycard, Ocker, obviously locker. Last one, I promise. It didn't make much sense at the time. Oh, I got a trophy because I saw the mouse again. That's it? Nothing else? Okay. Whatever. Downstairs. Down to the cellar. Here's in my friend cellar. The box looked heavy, but there were marks on the floor. It had obviously been moved before. Maybe I found a way out. I must have moved it, right? Yeah. I heaved the box forward, and it finally gave. There was a ladder going underground where the box was. A dank smell rose from the passage. Did I climb down the ladder? If it was me, I'd say no, but for the sake of the game, yes. I looked again at the photo I found in the house. The couple looked distant, like they didn't want to be in the same picture. I wonder where the wife was. Oh, God. My leg was in terrible shape, but I had to get out. Footprints in the dirt. Looked like someone. Oh, it looked like more than one kind, and a lot of traffic. Places all over were marked on an old map of town. The industrial area near the river, various houses, and even the water tower near the old rail station. newspaper clippings from the local paper. They were all about murders in the town over the last few years. Wait. There were photos. Photos of our house. What the hell was that about? Maybe I should have looked around more and tried to find some kind of information. A work table covered in papers, dirt, and a handgun. I hated guns. I didn't take it, did I? Yes, I took it. I tucked the small handgun into my pocket. Its weight was somehow reassuring. Well, how do I use the gun? Okay, I know how to take it. Oh, man. It was so dark down there. The air smelled stale and putrid. I couldn't believe what I saw. What was this place? The desk looked old and caked with grime. On it was a stack of old faded papers covered with what looked like names. They were scratched out and illegible. Illegible, not intelligible. Notes were written beside them in a faded blue ink. I could only make out a few letters. Hey, I don't know. None of it made any sense to me. Yeah, I agree with that statement. There looked to be bones half dug into the ground, and the remains looked old. The faded clothes that stuck up amongst the dirt looked familiar. They looked like the clothes that woman was wearing in the photo I found. Was this the man's wife? Some kind of homemade rack, slung together with poorly cut wooden rope. It was caked with old blood. Somebody didn't actually use that, did they? Rusted hooks like the kind you'd find in a butcher hung from the ceiling. Ugh. My cat keeps moving and it kind of keeps creeping me out. Worn from heavy use. That man upstairs, did he do this? Was it me? Am I the killer? Crudely made shelves. They looked like they were holding cans of some kind of corrosive. The labels were worn and slick, but I could still see the warnings. Looked like a cage. It was small, but there was something coating the bottom, something wet. This place is getting worse all the time. I knew I had to keep moving. That looks like a person. Some kind of old boxes. They look like they were years old. Wait a minute. These boxes had old clothes in them. Clothes I remember throwing out after Rachel and I moved to town. What the hell are they doing here? If I was scared before, I was terrified now. Why were these photos of our house there? And these clothes? Why was I there? I checked my back pocket and realized my wallet was missing. Did I come to that house or did someone bring me? What the fuck? Oh, just bats. I remember noticing a broken ladder. I had to be careful. There's a rope hanging there. I wasn't sure how straight it was. Did I take it? The That's creepy. It's like whispering. Yes. I could hear a faint hum, and the smell from before started to get worse. I hope I don't have to run. I hope it's just scares-like sound. A bunch of old newspapers, wheat pasted together. A message had been hastily smeared on it. Keep out, danger due to cave-in. Oh, God. I could still feel a faint impression of the rope I had slid down as I pressed against the heavy metal. Impression of the rope I had slid down? It was probably for the best that I hadn't jumped. The ache in my legs was bad enough as it was. If I could have, though, I would have run straight out of those awful tunnels. Who would keep such a place? At least I thought I had found that old handgun, and it seemed to work. From the smell of it, it had been used already. Blech. I kept the gun in my pocket. It seemed a familiar weight there. An exposed ventilation shaft. Maybe someone crawled through there, but it was so high up that must have been a store landing. There was dirt on the ground. It looked wet, and there was grass smeared within it. Odd, there was similar dirt on my own shoes. I could hear a faint trickling sound like water. What was that? A kitchen knife covered in drying blood. Thinking about it made me sick. I didn't even want to touch it. Did I take the knife? I don't know. I'm gonna say no. I still had the old handgun. I wasn't sure what good a knife would have been. Yeah, I know it says exit, but what's down here? Me wanting to explore is gonna get me killed. Oh my God. What was that? Wasn't sure, but I thought it was some kind of regulator. I had no idea how it worked. Wasn't sure about what those valves were. Did I turn it anyway? I'm scared. Yeah. What am I doing? I'm just like solving a puzzle. Yes. Yes. Just do it. Make your dreams come true. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna do it. Oh! Yes. I saw it on the wall. And that's in the right spot. That's in the right spot. I'm good at puzzles. Oh wait, maybe now I turned all those valves. Maybe that thing. I don't know what those valves did, but it did something. That's good enough for me. Door's locked still. I knew I did something for a reason. Hold on. There was a ladder over here that I want to check out first. Disgusting. It was a mess of filthy garbage bags. There were rips and tears in most of the bags. What looked like an old videotape was sticking out. Did I take the tape? Yes. I wasn't sure what I had hoped to discover within the tape, but I took it anyway. Go down the ladder. Looked like the water drained out of that grate in the wall. There was a small metal key left floating in the shallow pool of rancid water. Did I take it? Yeah. I pocketed the small key, but it was so odd-shaped, I had no idea what it might open. The safety poster had definitely seen better days. How old was that facility? Let's go in this door first. The door is locked. I can see a faint light within. I found another dead body. It was a sewer worker. He was a mess, but he looked like he had been stabbed. I could see a keyring that had fallen out of his pocket. Did I take it? I worked up the nerve to snatch the keyring anyway and put it in my own pocket. There was a security camera in the room. There must be a way to see what happened. Maybe the VHS tape I found could be useful. That's creepy. It's probably the showing the dude getting murdered. There's a hint of fresh air here. I must have been near an exit, but I wondered, what did the key I found in the sewer worker do, and what was on the videotape I found? Okay. Well, let's go back. Let's go back. I used the keyring to unlock the door. Hey! The shelf was full of security tapes. It was strictly organized, though covered in dust. Looked like the tape I found was the one that was missing from the shelf. There was a dusty VCR on the security desk. I wondered what was on the VHS tape that I found. Did I play the tape? Yes. Oh no, the video showed a man right there in the sewers being attacked. The tape looked fuzzy and stretched, like somebody had tampered with it. It looked like there could have been two men. I'm getting a little creeped. But how did they get that tape? You know, like, how did they get that tape if they had to go through the vent because they didn't drain the water and there was water down there? I don't know. Don't overthink it, Ashley. Don't overthink it. Where's locked door? I tried a bunch of the keys on the keyring. I had found one on the sewer worker, and one of them seemed to fit. A collection of stale liquor bottles covered the floor. The wall was littered with dozens of old, faded papers. Whoever did this was obsessed with some local murders. According to some of the clippings, bodies had been found in ravines in the forest, and in one case dumped in the back of an abandoned truck. I couldn't be sure, but I thought some of these same articles had also been pasted up back in those tunnels. Faded receipt was half trampled on the floor. It was from a local train station, and it was for 2 tickets. I didn't know what use it could be, but did I keep the receipt? Yes. I neatly folded the soiled receipt and slipped it into my front pocket. Okay. Oh, God. God. That scared the shit out of me. Oh, I think that's the... Okay. Okay, yeah, the guy... Alright, I guess I just go up. I cursed the weight of the gun as I hobbled up the ladder. Would I really need it, or was there some other reason for wanting to carry it around? The thought of that videotape still haunted me. Who was it that didn't want to be seen? Was it the same person that hid all those newspaper clippings away in that locked room? I could go no further up the ladder, and tumbling the latch above me, finally I found my escape. The stench of that sewer finally abated, and I could smell old damp pine trees. That wasn't creepy. An old ladder leading up to the ancient water tower. The ladder needed to be extended so I could climb it. Did I extend the ladder? I popped the latch and brought the ladder down. Let's climb it. Oh, is just somebody driving by. I thought for a minute somebody was here. Let me close my blinds just a little bit better so no fucking light from cars driving down the road shines in. Okay. Guess there's really nothing in here, so I'll climb up. What the fuck? In a patch of smeared dirt and grass, there was a beat-up old wallet. I thought it was mine. Did I take it? Yeah, the wallet was missing its contents, including any cards or ID. It was worn but light. It made carrying the gun around seem more awkward. Where was my driver's license and credit card? From the railing, I could see over the woods and down to the entrance, the sewers. Had I come through here before? If I did, someone definitely could have seen me. I thought I am. I tried the little key I had fished out of the murky puddle. It fit, and I heaved the rusty door open. But I saw the wind was picking up a bit. The night air had become strangely chilly. Can I go back through? I saw eyes, and that kind of worried me. It's this way. It must have been the entrance to the forest that was mentioned on the map I had seen. Whoever was poking around in these tunnels underneath the man's house had scribbled notes on this place, but I couldn't make them out. Here the sign pointed out various campsites and walking paths within the woods. It mentioned a river and maybe a washroom, but the rest was too faded to see clearly. Oh my God, Stephen. Okay. Well, maybe I'll go back through. But there's like blood on the door, man. I don't know. What the fuck is going on? Oh, they're like moths or something, I guess. Where? The old train station was quiet as a tomb. The only sound was that of the increasing wind buffering the structure. Ugh. Kind of hungry now. An old map encased in glass hung on the wall. It was the train routes connected to the old station. As I looked at it, it seemed familiar. Of course, the map I found in those tunnels had similar locations marked, and the notes I found on the other man's bookshelf. His notes mentioned the water tower and even this train yard. What was he doing coming back here? The fuck? The old train was ripped open, and hanging from the shred of metal, as well as the broken fence, was a dark stained patch of cloth. It looked synthetic, like some kind of outerwear. Inside the train shell, I could see a few faint impacts like wounds. Could they have been bullet marks? Was somebody shot here? The ground was well worn, though I couldn't really make anything out. I realized I was touching the gun I had found, as I thought. Maybe it was I. I hope I don't get chased or anything, because that would just be too much. I would stop. An old ticket booth that looked fairly ruined. Inside the ticket window were sheets of paper and, wait, what were these? Train receipts? I thought the receipt I had picked up might match these, but of course not. The station had been closed for years. The ticket must have been sorry, for the newer station that opened up on the other side of town after this one was abandoned. However, I noticed a series of fresher looking paper covered in tiny notes scribbled in diagrams. Okay, I got a trophy for that. I guess it's time to leave the train station. The door could not be creepier. Trampled into the dirt and grass was a plastic card of some kind. I brushed it off and was surprised to see it was my credit card. I wasn't sure if it was still usable, but it was mine. Did I take back my credit card? Sure. I pocketed the credit card. Hopefully I could find my driver's license too. Through the fence I could see dilapidated. I'm sorry. I can't English. Outbuilding. I wondered if I could find my way around. Probably, but what was the other path? What about this path? One picnic table stood within the circle of trees, like an altar. That's not creepy. It was covered in faint markings and carvings from who I assumed were previous campers and hikers. The path ended in a cold-looking river. I wasn't sure if it was safe to cross like this. Did I cross? No. In that darkness, it didn't seem wise to try, and maybe there was another option. There was a fire pit there. It was still a bit warm, and a few embers still burned at the bottom. Was someone else out in these woods? Why did they abandon their campsite? The cheap dome tent slept 2 people. I shone my flashlight inside and could see some bedrolls, 2 backpacks, and a cooler. No. Don't. What? Do what? This is a bad idea. There was a damp smelling plank leaning against the stall door. I might have been able to cross over with it. Did I take it? A granny sink had a small patch in it that looked almost clean. And it's just a bathroom. Looks like it says don't look. This is kind of confusing. Okay, that's the campsite. Okay, that was the way around. Well, what was this other path then? Curious, actually. What the fuck? Why did it vibrate? There was some personal effect shoved back into the rock. Wait, there was a notebook there too. Did I read it? Yes. Inside the cheap dollar store. Quit judging the notebook. The cheap dollar store notebook was page after worn page of names and lists. None made much sense. The newest page contained several names. Heather, Olivia, Ashley. Oh God. I'm Ashley. Cheryl, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose, Rachel. Rachel? Her name was the last on the list and had a mark beside it in blue ink. The names Daphne and Olivia had been crossed out in the same blue ink. Cheryl, Heather, and Rose had also been crossed out, but these marks looked older and more faded. What about Ashley? I need to know. Is this towards the river? I think this one was. Okay. The plank I found was long enough to form a crude bridge, but I wasn't sure if it would hold. Did I use it? Oh God. Don't vibrate. 2 bodies, 2 young women, were half dug into a hastily shallow grave between the trees. God, stop vibrating, controller. The younger looking one was still faced up, her dead eyes gleaming against my flashlight. Oh God, they deserve better than that. Did I clean up the gravesite? No! The thought of touching those poor girls almost made me sick. I left everything right where it was. The police could sort it out. Well, now what am I supposed to do? Why would I clean it up? Like, that's just incriminating me. No. Yes. Well, now where do I go, though? I almost wish I had paid more attention to those crazy scribblings. Maybe I would have been less nervous about entering the dark woods, or forest. Well, now what am I supposed to do? That's where I started. Well, where am I supposed to go? And the water tower. This takes me to the train. Well, maybe there's another place to go. That's to the train. What's this way? Oh no, this is to the train. Train station. And what's this way? Did I go this way? Nothing. Fuck, what am I supposed to do? It's a fucked up train. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Maybe I am supposed to mess with that grave, even though it's fucking retarded. Why would I do that? Everybody knows when you find fucking dead bodies, you leave it the hell alone. Why did it vibrate again? Yes. I wonder now if they had a phone or something at their campsite. Maybe I could call for help. Yes. Oh, I got a trophy. 2 folding chairs were on the ground. One was knocked over. Those poor girls were here and then obviously ran off. There were cans of beer spilled on the ground, and the dirt was kicked up. The inside of the tent was suffocating. I'm trying to get home, but I don't know where to go. I don't think I went here, did I? What? The sign was the same as the first one I had seen. This must have been the exit to the other side of the woods. I'd finally found the exit. Once I left, I knew I never wanted to return there. Through the dense trees, I could finally start to see some light. I must have been on the edge of the forest, though I wasn't sure where the path ahead of me led. I could almost feel the cryptic notebook in my pocket as I tried to think about what it could mean, and where were the campers who had abandoned their site. Would I meet them too? Though the path ahead of me was less dense, I still felt guarded and wary. Who knew what was ahead? As I stepped through the gate, I suddenly recognized the auto parts factory where I had worked as a mechanic for all those years. The plant had closed almost 3 years ago now. Times were better then. I thought I could hear a faint rustling behind me. Maybe it was just the wind. And what? What? You're what? What? My Levin Dallas broke? What the fuck is he talking about? Oh god. One of the lockers hung open. Its contents were tossed around like someone had been looking for something. The danger closer appears. And the metal was starting to wear, and cobwebs had collected on the corners. The box wasn't receiving power. The door was locked tight, and it seemed to be connected to the power box beside it. Every part of the plant smelled old and rotted. I noticed the old bulletin board on the wall. The board contained yellowed clippings of newspaper cartoons and notices. There were notes to and from the guys that worked here. One of them was to Norman, who was one of the oldest guys on the line. The old break table, the layer of dust and grime only made seeing this sting more. A power panel looked like it was shut off. Did I push the switch? Open locker. Sofa door with close-up boots. There was a photo of a woman taped to the inside, but it was scratched out and the face was unrecognizable. A power panel. It looked like it was shut off. Did I push the switch? Ew. Norman took over a general store after the factory closed. He, Rachel, and I would get lunch every now and then. Rachel liked him because he seemed more positive despite the setback. I don't think I could say the same about me. Okay. This was Norman's locker. The door was dented like someone had punched it. I don't remember him doing that when he worked here. Another panel. Yes. The utility shelf crammed with mismatched tools and items. There was a claw hammer on the shelf. Yes! I took the hammer. I noticed it wasn't as dusty as the rest of the tools on the shelf. Locker was complete mess. Hidden at the bottom, though, was a magnet. Yes, I take the magnet card. I slipped the key card into my pocket. Yes. 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 Okay. We're getting somewhere. Damn it, Sassy. Don't do that. It's my cat. Making noise. Creeping me the fuck out. I struck with the hammer. The old wooden boards came apart easily. After I had removed the planks, I left the hammer on the floor. Well, that was dumb. This is my locker. There in the factory. It stank of booze. There was a picture of Rachel on the inside. It looked like it had been torn up. I thought I had taken that picture home when we closed the factory, or when the factory closed. The floor is littered with old liquor bottles. I wondered if the man in the house had something to do with this. He sure had a lot of alcohol at his place. He sure did. Break room. Oh wait, the key card was over here, wasn't it? Yeah, the key card I found seemed like it would pass through the reader. Did I use the key card? Yes. There's some kind of ventilation hatch here. It looked like I could jump to the room below. My leg hurt enough as it was. No, I did not jump. Oh, what the? Damn. So I have to jump. Oh man, my leg hurts like hell. Sorry. There's a crumpled up letter on the floor. It had been scratched out heavily, and it was hard to make out. Did I try to read the letter? Yes. Most of the letter was violently scratched out with what looked like to be a ballpoint pen. All I could make out was need to. Just don't drinking, need Norman. Who was Norman writing to? The room at the top of the plant, the one with all the bottles, it was really getting to me. Maybe I was just distracted. Who went up there and used that room? As I exited the factory, I didn't recognize where I was going. My head ached terribly, and my leg was a mess. Well, the fuck? The garbage bin was a disgusting mess of rotten food and slick black bags. I saw a thin greenish corner poking out from one of the bags. It was my driver's license. It looked damaged. Yes, I take it back. I cleaned the card off as best as I could. It looked pretty beat up. I was amazed to have found my credit card, and now this. I tucked the card into my wallet next to my credit card. Sounded like it was going to start raining again. I entered Norman's place. This was the back of the store that he ran. It was oddly quiet except for the faint sound of a television. So it looked like I couldn't just pop it open. I needed a key. There was a bit of blood on the keyhole. What was this? It looked like a pole chain hanging from the ceiling. Not yet. The TV still flickered some indecipherable channel. Oh no! So it says, oh no, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Norman, my co-worker, and one of my few friends I had in this town, lay dead beside his armchair. His face and shirt were covered in blood. It looked like he'd been shot trying to get up. His eyes were still wide with shock. Norman, you deserve better than this. Did I close his eyes? Yes. I wasn't sure if I wanted to give him peace or if I just couldn't stand to think anymore about what was going on. Quickly, I closed Norman's eyes. I guess this is where Norman's kitchen table. Well, this was Norman's kitchen table. He kept it clean enough, but there were water rings from 2 cups still there in the wood. The kitchen trash bin smelled fresh. I didn't dig through that mess, did I? Yes. I found a hairpin amongst the rotting food and trash and pocketed it. Despite the shock of already finding Norman in the state, seeing this turned my stomach just as much. It was one of Rachel's old fall coats. What was it doing here? Was she okay? Inside the cabinet was a small but impressive collection of hunting rifles, shotguns, and even a few items I didn't think were legal here. One of the slots on the rack was empty. The gun I had found seemed to match the others there. If the handgun was Norman's, what the hell was he doing with it? The gun would fit there. Did I place it back in the cabinet? Jesus Christ, why does my phone always have to go off? Yes. I got a trophy for putting it back, so I guess. I did. And the register was mostly empty, and a fat stack of travel magazines sat beside him. The icebox seemed to be unplugged. It must have been off for a while. Most of the contents were half melted. There were various postcards from the area, especially from tourist traps. One of the postcards showed an old black and white photo of the water tower. It looked to be in much better shape then. Why is it red? I didn't notice it changed color. Norman was dead, but I had no idea why. Was he involved in all this somehow, or was he just another victim? The gun I had found only seemed to complicate matters. It was such a relief to finally be rid of it. Home wasn't far off now. Even though the rain was relentless, I had to keep going. This must be my home. Sure. Stay away, she said. That was it. No signature, no other information. I guess this is my gate with the blood. I had entered our backyard. The rain gave me a terrible sense of foreboding, and it chilled me through my clothes. I was expectant, but also afraid. Oh, great! Now the creepy sounds are starting. I held my breath as I approached our back door. I was terrified to step inside. The house was painfully quiet. The only sound was my own breathing, ragged and strained. I flicked the light switch by the door. The power was off. I remember having breakfast here on this very table. Was that yesterday or sometime before? There was a small pile of mail on the floor in front of the mail slot. How long had I been away? Why hadn't Rachel picked this up? Most of the contents were bills. There was a credit card bill there. Did I open it? I ripped the bill open and read it. To my surprise, it said something about canceling my credit card due to non-payment. What the hell? The front door was locked from the inside. I couldn't go out, though. I needed to see if Rachel was here. The door to the basement was locked. Where had I put the damned key? The door was stuck shut. There was an old-fashioned keyhole underneath the handle. I had found the last missing piece of my wallet. The old photo of Rachel and I stared back at me. It reminded me of better times. It didn't make me feel terribly comfortable. Did I keep it anyway? I placed the photo in my wallet, feeling like I had got part of my life back. Still, the image made me uneasy. Why had I thrown it away? Got a trophy for that, too. Our television. I had purchased it before I knew I was going to lose my job. I felt pretty guilty about it afterward, but by then it was too late. Right, y'all? Broken mirror. A hallway mirror had been smashed, its pieces scattered around the floor. Blood. My laptop had been left on, only had a tiny bit of power left. On the screen was a website about the old water tower. There was a key in the top drawer of my desk. Did I take it? Yes. I pocketed the key. Let me go check out this other door before I go in the door with blood on it. The books were half mine, half Rachel's. Hey, now that I looked more closely, it looked like the man in the house had some of the same books as I did. There was a suitcase on the bed. It was Rachel's. I remembered it from that trip we took out west. Did I open the suitcase? Yes. I wasn't sure what to make of the suitcase contents. Inside were a few days' worth of clothes, some toiletries, and a train ticket. I checked the date and time. It matched the receipt I found in those horrible sewers. What was this? Rachel, who were you running away with? Norman? She's always there. Our sink, which needed to be replaced. One of the taps always stuck, but I hadn't got around to fixing it yet. We were lucky enough to get a house with one of those wonderful old claw-footed bathtubs. That's it? That's all there is to this room? Alright then. Unlock the basement door. Yes, let's go down to the basement. There were old Christmas decorations in the box. The garbage bags were stuffed with old paint cans, supplies, and there was a dirty old key in there. Did I take the key? I took the small key and tried to remember what it unlocked. There were old clothes, tools, and other things obviously hadn't thrown out yet. I had put up this divider wall last summer so we could create a separate room in the basement. I hadn't finished it yet, so the door was stuck and the drywall was poorly installed. I might have been able to break through if I found something heavy enough. Well, use yourself. PS4 on the ground? That's what she probably was really upset about. Oh, I hadn't been in here. It looked like the room had been tossed around. The furniture was a mess. Did somebody break in here? There was an old crowbar. Yes. I appreciated its weight. Well, back down to the basement. Yes. With a heave, I swung the crowbar at the wall, a special hole large enough to step through. As I stepped through the broken wall, my breath caught in my throat. This was it. Was Rachel down there? Was she okay? Don't look. Don't look. Aliens. A filthy-looking pile of rags had been dumped in the corner. The stench of them was awful and made my eyes water. I was terrified to even touch the pile to see what lay within, but I knew I had to. I had come this far. After all this searching, after all I had seen, when I looked within the rags, did I finally find my Rachel? It was worse than I could have possibly imagined. Within the folds of that rotting, smelling, heavy fabric was the pale, dead figure of my darling wife. What struck me the most was that she wasn't bloody or torn apart. Rather, she was covered in sickly green bruises, and her windpipe had been crushed. The real horror there was that whoever had killed her had done so intimately, with bare hands. So this is what had been gnawing in the back of my mind this whole time. This is what I was afraid of. I thought about all I had seen and wondered if any of it could help me figure out who had done this. And when I couldn't stay there any longer, I stepped away on shaky legs and made my way back upstairs. Reluctantly exhausted from my journey, I could no longer resist the urge to close my eyes. Where am I? This is my wallet with its contents intact. Either I dropped that stuff or someone else did. Maybe I was sleepwalking again, or maybe somebody stole it from me. Norman's store, that forest, the water tower. Was I at those places before? No, there was no way that was me out there. I woke up in that house, remember? I wasn't off in any damn forest. Maybe I would use some of Rachel's travel books and find some place to go. This was the old photo of the other man and his wife, I assumed. I found it in that house. I recalled those faded remains I had found deep underneath this house. What had he done there? Well, what did I think? Was that man involved in this whole mess somehow? Yes? Definitely. Those tunnels, the odd tools in his house, and the remains of his wife. He wasn't innocent, that's for sure. Within the few broken pieces that remained of that mirror, I could see my face had grown pale and weak. I couldn't bear to look again. It was like I didn't actually expect a reflection. I felt empty and drained. The reflection in that grimy glass was only a shadow, a whisper. I still loved the old-time charm of that claw-footed bathtub, though it seemed like cold comfort then. Rachel loved this part of the house. I don't know what's going on. It was the key card I found in that factory, the one that allowed me to slip through the door. It seemed to me that it was probably Norman's, but if that was true, what was he doing back at that plant? Did I think Norman was going back to the factory? Yeah, it must have been him. He must have been using the old locker room. The laptop had finally run out of power. was the letter I had taken from the postbox. Who had it out for Norman? Who sent him that letter? It must have been someone from the neighborhood, or at least somebody wanted it to look that way. I wasn't sure what to think. Did he murder Rachel? I don't know. It's like let's say yes. Maybe whoever sent that letter wanted to stop him or do the deed himself, but I was sure it was Norman who killed Rachel in the end. You bastard, Norman. I trusted you. We both did. What was going through your head? Why would you possibly want to do that? Despite his betrayal, Norman got what he deserved, but it wasn't me who killed him. Someone else obviously had gotten to him already. So who sent that threatening letter? From now on, I'd have no one to get angry with me for stupid things like buying this TV. Did I go over here? My old office safe sat on the floor. I used to keep tax records and other important documents in it. I used a digital passcode lock, but I didn't have the code. Maybe I left it somewhere. I leafed through the notebook I had taken from the forest. In it were the names that had been written down. Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Cheryl, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose, Rachel. I recalled the names I saw stretched out on that old desk within those musty tunnels. Was the man in that house really up to something? It was probably me. It seemed like I had seen all there was. Maybe I thought I was ready to go back into the basement. Mayo still sat there, heap on the floor. How long had Rachel been lying in the basement? A long time, buddy. Maybe there wouldn't be anything for me to find, but I had to take a last look. Now that I stood there, I realized I couldn't go back in that room again. I had already seen too much. Well then, leave? Oh, I can leave. There would be no more dinners here, no more chit-chat over breakfast, at least not for us. I must have locked the door. There was no reason to return to the backyard anyway. There is nothing for me here anymore, no reason to stay in that house. Did I leave and never return? Yes. Living in this town hadn't been easy. The plant had helped in some way to stay grounded. It kept me in line, gave me something to do, and helped me get away from my past. When that factory closed, everything changed. I guess that was when I had started sleepwalking, disappearing for hours at a time. I had MRIs and piles of doctors' reports, but nothing seemed to help, not even drinking. But I swear, I had tried to give it up, I know it. The sleepwalking never really went away, though. But I know Rachel had tried. I know she had tried to be there for me, even when everything was falling apart. This night had unearthed terrible truths, but I knew it was a final act of a long-standing horror I'd been living. Waking up in that house tonight was the final cruelty. I wish I had remained unconscious in that room forever. It was obvious to me that the man I had found in that house had something to do with all this. Could he have killed Rachel? It started to seem that there were too many things I had seen to think otherwise. After making it out of those tunnels, I thought those sewers might feel safer. I was wrong. The security tape I had watched showed someone being attacked by what looked like two people. But who was it that was attacked? With Rachel gone, the implications of what had happened that night were starting to gnaw at me. Someone had clearly taken my wallet. It wasn't me in those woods, nor at Norman's. But who could have done so? And why drop my things all over the place? Was someone trying to incriminate me? Deep within those woods, where things became truly awful. I don't know why that was weird for me. Finding that notebook only made things worse. Rachel's name had been on that list, so what terrible plot was she part of? There was a similar list of names on that desk back in those tunnels. What was the connection? It was clear, at least, that Norman had been going back to the old plant. Maybe he was the one who had boarded up that locker room, who had been drinking up there in that secret hiding place. So had he killed that guard then? He must have. Maybe he found out, or the guard had caught him on patrol. Damn it, Norman, why? I'm starting to think it actually wasn't Norman. It was probably me, because I was drinking. Alright, anyway, after the factory, I thought I might find some solace if I could just get to Norman's store. But all I had found there were more horrors and more questions. Now that I really considered it, that's when I should have seen it coming. Norman, you rotten son of a bitch. You got what you deserved in the end. I realize that now. I thought we were friends. What had happened? What did she do to you? Or was it what she didn't do? Whoa. I didn't know what happened to him exactly. Maybe he was murdered, or maybe he took his own life. But it was difficult, if not impossible, to feel any real grief. When I had marched through the rain towards home, I desperately clung to hope that this would end. And I guess in a way it did, but how could I have known how hopeless it all was? I had started to feel as disoriented as when I sleepwalk. To think of it now. Coming through the back door and into the kitchen should have tipped me off that something was terribly wrong. There was no sound of television, radio, even the air was still. But Say and Rachel, there lying ruined and discarded in the basement. That was a horror I could never have imagined. The other man I had found was involved in all this. Somehow I knew it. But it was Norman, that traitorous son of a bitch, who had done the deed. Whatever was going on, he was the one who took Rachel away from me. I hated him for it more than I could possibly express, but that offered no strength, no solace. Rachel was gone now, and I was too, forever. As I swung open the door and stepped out into the air, I caught the scent of wet grass and fog. Rachel, my beautiful wife. Just the thought of her again, cold and inert, shook me from head to toe. What would I do now? Who could I turn to? It would only be a matter of time before the police got involved, before the neighbors knew. The front lawn was soft and giving beneath my feet, and I couldn't shake the urge that I shouldn't stand there, but rather that I should run. Oh, I got a trophy. That was weird. So maybe if I answer the questions differently, then it will turn out that I was the one who did it all. That I was sleepwalking because I lost my job and I was upset and I was drinking. And then, because see, what I really think happened from all the clues is that home was dedicated to my wife, Nancy. Watch your back. So now I think that because he was sleepwalking, because he lost his job, and he was drinking, that she was going to Norman for comfort, and then her and Norman were going to run away, and he found out and like freaked out, maybe killed them, was sleepwalking, and ended up going back to the plant every night. That makes more sense to me. I don't know. I'll have to definitely play it again to see if there's like different endings, if I do things differently. But anyway, that was Home, a unique horror adventure. It wasn't really like scary, like jump scares. It was just sounds, and it was a little creepy trying to figure out what was going on, finding dead bodies and the controller vibrating. It was definitely different. It was unique. But anyway, thank you for watching this. Like it. Maybe I'll play it again and get a different outcome. And go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more live streams for me, because that's usually what I've been doing. I live streamed Goat Simulator a little bit earlier on, and it was pretty fun. I've been doing Bloodborne and stuff like that. I play all kinds of games, so yeah, just let me know. Leave a comment if you have a suggestion for a game, because I don't have time. I work, and I don't know what the fuck to play half the time. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video, maybe. Goodbye.